in the new era that the world is in now, that there should be a good measure of equality among sovereign nations.
What up, dreamers? Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, man, make sure that you press the subscribe button. But if you've been here, thank you very much, man. Just make sure that you press the like button, comment down below, and make sure you share this video so that other Africans might actually also see this video. Now, what we're going to talk about today is the biased reporting that the West has been doing of Africa, giving us the wrong image of our continent. Let's go. Of course, we all know by now that Africa was colonized and her resources looted by the West as they divided and shared the countries amongst themselves.
Carved up by outsiders, simply drawing lines on maps and, between Germany, France, Britain, saying, right, that bit's your bit, that's bit, we'll put the line there, often dividing whole societies.
But how far has the West gone to keep Africa colonized, even beyond the years of slavery and colonization?
They don't show the beautiful picture of Johannesburg on the media. They don't show a beautiful picture of Cape Town on the media. Durban, I've never seen anything beautiful about Durban. When people show things in the media, they're always shown in the negative.
Has neo-colonization been such a strong mission for the West that they would do whatever it takes to keep their grip on the precious African continent? One of the many ways they've been using to do this has been the media and the news media.
You blame the colonialists of Europe for the legacy. They left leaders like you in Africa. You complain that Africa is being dubbed no hope.
In this interview, listen to how the reporter knows what he's saying is absolutely facts, but asks the question as though it's all a figment of our president's imagination.
Now you say, is Africa pulling itself out of the dark age of what you call unreason, cruelty and irrationality. You blame the colonialists of Europe for the legacy. They left leaders like you in Africa. You complain that Africa is being dubbed no hope and a dark continent and is really being misrepresented by the international community. What do you therefore see happening now in your continent of Africa, particularly here in southern Africa?
Well, I see quite a lot happening. There has been a kind of transformation in the thinking of Africa.
Here's another powerful point to consider. Now, we all know that the poverty that exists in Africa is as a result of what the whites have done to Africa. But how can you now make it look like I'm not doing enough as a president to try and change my situation when the situation in my country has been so hard for so many years?
But these people just do what the colonialists did, which was suck the wealth out and shift it overseas. And until that changes, that is, until there's a new generation or even a revolution that actually takes power back to Africa.
Think about mental slavery. If they can keep us looking at the wrong things, they will surely subtly worm their ways into our precious continent.
It's our living room. This is our couch, and this is where we cook, and this is where I sleep.
I want to tell you something which will shock you. I'm 27 years today, and all the 27 years of my life I've lived in a shack, and I never had any windows, never had any water.
School because they don't have access to sanitary products. This is thought to be because around 7 million South African girls cannot afford tampons or pads, which is really setting them back in their education, something Tamara is trying to change.
When I started this business, I didn't think within 2 years of me operating, people would believe in what I do strong enough to nominate me for Forbes. So when that happened, it was that confirmation that I'm doing something right, and I was called to do this. It's my calling, it's my destiny, and it's my purpose in life, because then it encourages more people to do better.
So whether it be TV, news, newspapers, magazines, music, the West has tried all it can to make sure that it never loses its grip on Africa.
Blacks were gradually forced into ever smaller portions of land. 72% of the land would end up in the hands of just 9% of the population.
I'm suffering. I won't be the same like white people. I'm suffering because I'm black.
That is, until there's a new generation or even a revolution that actually takes power back to African people. I think those problems, that lack of development.
Because we say Africa's got a lot of problems, we need all the human resource, all the leadership resource to be available to see whether they can contribute. So we don't accept.
Right. I think checking of facts is a serious problem with the very institutions we should have relied on to inform the public, the general public, the world, about some of these facts. Or whether the facts themselves or the interpretation of some of the things that actually happen.
In the new era that the world is in now, that there should be a good measure of equality among sovereign nations. You know, recently, and the other important thing for this to happen, it will help us not to participate as unequal cousins in these institutions. It will help us to participate fully, and so that we don't have a sense that we are beggars, that we are being dealt with out of generosity. I think it's important in the new era that the world is in now.
Yeah.